Good afternoon. My name is Samantha Talbert, and this is my healthy handler, Abe. He's going to be our demonstrator today on how to give your horse vital signs, or how to take vital signs on your horse. Whenever you're taking vital signs on your horse, there's some things that you're going to want to check. These things include the mucous membrane, the capillary refill, your skin pinch, respiratory, gut sounds, and temperature. Some items that you're going to need whenever you're taking vital signs on your horse is yourself, your horse, a handler in dire situations whenever your horse is very unhappy and restless and you need extra assistance keeping your horse in control. For safety purposes, you always want your handler to be on the same side as yourself, but for videoing purposes today, my handler is going to be on either the same side, opposite side, or out of the road of the video in order for me to demonstrate to you what it is you need to do. Some things that you're going to need whenever you are taking your vital signs is Vaseline and a thermometer. You can either have a digital or a mercury or a non-mercury, as those are now a thing. You need a stethoscope, or you can use your ear. The first thing I'm going to demonstrate to you is mucous membranes. Whenever you're looking at the horse's mucous membranes, you're going to lift up the lips and you're going to just take a general look at the horse's gums. You're going to look at their color and the moisture level that you can see there. Some horses have a very high moisture level and where it looks like they're kind of drooling all the time whenever you open their mouth. For some horses, this could be very abnormal. For others, this can be normal. You just need to know the normality of your horse. A basic color that you're going to want to look for whenever you're looking at mucous membranes is a pink. It could be a happy shade of pink or more of a pale pink. Another place that you can check your mucous membrane is the conjunctiva, which is located in the eye. You would pretty much just approach and you would just peel back their eye and not try and stab them, and you're looking at the inner lining, and you're looking at that color just to see what you're seeing. So other colors that you might see is a very pale pink, which could mean that they're dehydrated or lethargic. Yellow means jaundice or issues with the liver. And red could mean a fever, which can also be indicated or confirmed by a temperature whenever we get to temperature. And now I'm going to demonstrate how you would go in and look at your horse's mucous membrane. So since Abe's got his head really low, I'm just going to drop down his level for convenience, and I'm just going to peel his upper lip up, and I'm just going to take a general look. So like he's got more of a paler pink, which is fine, but it's very moist and very slobbery, as you can see as it came away off of my fingers there. So we know that he's fairly hydrated, and we don't have to really worry about how much water he's intaking. The next thing we're going to be demonstrating that also has to do with the mouth is the capillary refill. Whenever you're taking the capillary refill, you're going to take your thumb and you're going to press it down on their gum and hold it for, I like to hold it for 3 seconds, and I count to myself 1, 2, 3. And then I let off with my thumb, and I'm waiting to see how long it takes for the color to return in the gum. So whenever you do this, you're looking at hydration and blood circulation and making sure that they're a happy, healthy horse and not having some kind of issue with their circulatory system. So again, since Abe has his head really low, I'm just going to drop down to his level because he's a very calm boy. So I'm just going to get down here and I'm going to pull back his lip, and I'm going to take my gum and I'm going to 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to move it 1, 2, 3. So his was a little slower than some of your normal horses, but that is his normal. So a lot of times, again, knowing the normal of your horse can help you determine what is right and wrong for your horse. Another vital sign that I'm going to demonstrate is a skin pinch. So whenever you're taking a skin pinch, you're going to walk back to your horse's neck, and you're going to find a good part of their neck to take it on. You're not going to want to come back here to the shoulder blade, as that skin is very tight. As you can see, I'm having issues grabbing it. And you're not going to want to be up here all the way on the neck, because it is also hard to grab, and it's not really good to get a good pinch on. So I'm going to come back here inside this triangle here, and I'm just going to grab hold between my thumb and forefinger and just pull it up, and I'm going to hold it for 2 seconds, and then I'm going to release it and count how long it takes to go down. So his took about 2 to 3 seconds for it to unpinch, and it didn't tint, and tinting is where whenever you pinch the skin and pull it up and it goes to go back to normal, it'll have a minor tint or crease where you were holding onto it, and this could indicate lack of hydration, or that they are an older horse and that their skin is not as elastic as a younger horse would be, and the elasticity of the skin is what allows it to go back to normal. Generally, whenever you're doing a skin pinch, your normal range for a good skin pinch is 1 to 2 seconds. 3 seconds can be common in horses that have a lower hydration rate or are an older horse, as that is common due to the skin elasticity. Anything over 3 seconds, though, is going to be a red flag that something is majorly wrong with your horse and they are very dehydrated. The next vital sign that I'm going to demonstrate to you is the maxillary heart rate or maxillary pulse. In order to take your maxillary pulse, you're going to find the maxillary artery that runs underneath your horse's jaw, and you're going to gently apply pressure over the pulse, and you're going to feel the beat in your fingers, and you're going to count how many beats you feel for 10 or 15 seconds. Whenever you're taking this, you need to tell your timer how long you want them to do it. Otherwise, they could set your time to whatever. Generally, 15 seconds is a basis, as it is a longer time than 10 seconds and is more accurate. After you take however many beats for your 15 seconds, you're going to multiply that by 4, so you get however many beats for your minute. And that would be your baseline for your horse's maxillary heart rate. So I'm just going to go in here, and I'm going to establish a good pulse. Start. Stop. Alright, so there I counted 8 beats for those 15 seconds. 8 by 4 is 32. If you're not very good at math, don't be afraid to use a calculator. No shame, no harm, no foul. Oftentimes whenever you're timing, it is a good thing between you and your timer to have keywords. So like I said start and she said stop, so that's our keywords. Other people might say go, and other people have other ways of doing it. But 8 by 4 is 32, and 32 does lie in our normal range, and our normal range for a maxillary heart rate is 32 to 44 beats per minute. And even though he is on the lower end of the spectrum, he is also a bigger horse, and sometimes that can play into effect of it. And sometimes just the way you time it also plays into effect to it as well, depending on the reaction time between when you vocally say start and the reaction time of when the timer actually starts the time. A couple other places where you can find a heart rate at is on the inside of the knee where the radial pulse is, or down by your fetlock, which is where your digital pulse is. For your radial pulse, it's on the inside of the knee, and you're just going to apply pressure there, and you would take the same amount of time, 10 to 15 seconds, and counting your beats as you would for your maxillary heart rate. And you would just have your timer time, and it is a reflection of the maxillary heart rate, which is still the normal range of 32 to 44 beats per minute. Your digital pulse is down here, and oftentimes you can find it on the inside of the fetlock, or some people can find it on the outside of the fetlock as it runs down both. And see if I can find it here. If you don't find a digital pulse, don't be alarmed, as oftentimes you won't find a digital pulse until there is a foot problem that arises. And good indications that there's a foot problem is founder or navicular rotation, or even just a basic lameness, which is which can be an increased blood flow to the foot or the hoof. If you find a digital pulse, you can take the pulse generally on a basic, just top to back vital signs. You're going to hope you don't find one. So the next vital sign we're going to take is the actual heart rate, which you're going to find on the rib cage. You're going to be looking for the thinnest part of the heart wall to get a good heart rate, and it's going to sound, for some people it sounds very different, but it does not sound like a typical human lub-dub, although you just got to hear it for yourself to know what you're listening for. Everybody thinks of it a little differently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my stethoscope and I'm going to press it against his right below his shoulder, right behind his shoulder, and I'm going to press up and in. I'm going to listen, and my timer is going to keep time for me again for 15 seconds, so therefore I multiply by 4. Your general rate, your average range for your heart rate is 32 to 44, and it is generally a mirror of your maxillary pulse, and they may be off by a couple of seconds due to the timing difference. I'm going to go ahead and put my stethoscope on. Start. Stop. Okay, for his heart rate, I got 8 beats, and he has a very strong heartbeat. I got 8 beats, so 8 by 4 is again 32, which again is the mirror of our maxillary pulse.
Go.
Another good vital sign to take is the respiratory. So whenever you're taking the respiratory, it is a good thing to look at your horse's overall flank versus just your horse's nostrils, as nostrils can flare without actually the inhale and exhale of a breath, which can be very deceiving whenever you're taking the respiratory. Whenever you're taking the respiratory, you're wanting the inhale and exhale of a breath to count as a full breath. So that would be the count of 1. 1 inhale, 1 exhale is 1. So for him, and you would take it with the same amount of time as you would any other thing whenever you're timing on a vital sign, 10 to 15 seconds. If you're doing it by 10 seconds, you need to multiply by 6 to get your 60 seconds, but if you're doing it by 15, you need to do it by 4. So I'm going to wait for him to breathe in and out. All right. Start. Okay, so I got 2 breaths, and Abe does have a very slow respiratory rate as he is very relaxed at the moment, and he has not been doing any current activity. And some horses do have a very quick inhale, exhale, and then they have a pause. Other horses have a very slow inhale and slow exhale. So since I counted 2, I'm going to multiply by 4, which is 8, which is at the very bottom of our spectrum again. Seems to be the normal for Abe. But he is still within our normal range, and this is the normal for him, so we are okay. So the next vital sign I'm going to demonstrate is taking the temperature. Whenever you're taking a temperature, you can either use a digital or a mercury thermometer. I'm just going to demonstrate the mercury today. Whenever you're taking your digital thermometer, you're going to want to cover the end of your thermometer in Vaseline, and you're going to turn it on, and you're going to insert it the same way as you would insert a mercury, which we will get to in a minute. And you will just listen for the beeper to go off. The one thing that I do want to note is that your digital thermometer does run a touch lower than your mercury. So if your digital temp is running high on the scale range, which the average range for a temperature is 99.5 to 101.5, with your average being 100.4. If it's up closer to the 101 side of things, you might want to consider taking it with a mercury thermometer just to ensure that they're not actually running a temperature. So with your mercury thermometer, sometimes they do run a little warm, and you're going to have to shake them down below the normal range. So this one's already shook down, but I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how you would shake it down. You're going to want to hold your clip in your hand and hold the end of your thermometer, and you're just going to sit here and you're just going to shake it hard and semi-aggressive. Just don't throw it and break it, because then you're out of thermometer. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to coat it in Vaseline and cover my thermometer. I'm going to go ahead and set my drawer down out of the road. And with your thermometer, you're going to insert it at an angle, or straight and then tip it to an angle. You also want to stay out of the road of your horse, and for this video I'm going to stand on the off side of the horse. And I'm going to take it and insert it straight and then tip it to an angle. And then for a mercury thermometer, you're going to let it sit here for 2 minutes, 3 minutes if they'll actually let it stay there. If he's going to leave then we're just going to let it sit there for 2 minutes. Timer. You want to start my time for 2 minutes, please?
Go.
Okay, now that our 2 minutes has passed, I'm going to go ahead and take our thermometer out. Just going to move this tail to the side and unclip it. And it is still inserted, so I'm just going to pull it out. I'm going to take some of his hair, and I'm just going to wipe it off. Whenever you're taking a temperature, be sure to not stand right behind the horse, as that is a danger if they decide to kick out at you. You want to stand off to the side. And I'm just going to go ahead and read my thermometer. And it is reading exactly 100, so he is within the normal range. So the next vital sign I'm going to demonstrate is gut sounds. Gut sounds can be very important to a horse's overall health, as when listening to gut sounds, you're listening to the movement of food moving through their digestive system. When listening to gut sounds, you're going to listen in the upper and lower quadrants on both the left and the right side, as whenever you're checking gut sounds, there is a chance that something could be wrong in one of the quadrants, and if you don't check all 4 quadrants, the one that you don't check could be the one causing the problem or the one that is having problems. Sounds that you want to listen for are just happy, gurgly sounds that don't sound like rushing water, pinging, candy wrappers, or no sounds at all, as these can be signs of issues in the gut. The no sounds at all means that the digestive tract is blocked, and the hypermodal whooshing sound, which would be the gurgling running water, means that it's hypermodal and that it's overactive, and oftentimes another sign of a hyperactive digestive system or gut tract is diarrhea. So I'm going to put my stethoscope on. You can also do this by listening with your ear. You don't necessarily need a stethoscope if it is not at your disposal. In some horses, when you're doing this, you will have to sit here and wait. To ensure that you have actual good, happy gut sounds. Alright, now that I've taken them on the other side, I'm going to take them on this side. I'm going to do the same thing. Happy, healthy horse. Just a few tips to remember whenever you're taking vital signs is to stay out of the way of your horse's feet and of their nose, as in case they are in extreme discomfort, they could be kicking out or be making it very known that they are in discomfort, and you want to be sure that you and your handler are not in the way of getting hurt or harmed, because dealing with a horse that is unhurtable is one deal on its own, and you don't need to add to it. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you get something good out of it, and enjoy.